No fewer than 16 political parties, including the ruling All Progressives Congress and the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, are contesting for the 2023 governorship election in Lagos State. The governorship election, according to the Independent National Electoral Commission timetable, will hold on March the 11th, 2023 in 30 out of 36 states. While only 4 out of the 16 political parties have members and secretariats spread across the 20 local government areas and 37 LCDAs in the state, the same cannot be said of the remaining political parties, which are with no known members and secretariats. You would recall that former leader of the Lagos for Lagos movement in the APC, Dr. Adediran Azeez Olajide, popularly known as Jandor, is running alongside Nollywood actress Funke Akindele, also known as Jennifer, as the candidate of the main opposition party, the PDP, in Lagos. Having defied all entreaties, Jandor single-handedly picked Jennifer from the Ikorodu constituency as his deputy governorship candidate for the Lagos governorship race in 2023. And the choice of Funke as the Lagos PDP deputy governorship candidate was vehemently opposed by a large number of PDP members of the party, including a former Southwest chairman and chieftain of the party in Lagos State, Chief Olabode George, who preferred Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour to the actress. Rhodes-Vivour also defeated a former chieftain and chairman of the All Progressives Congress Conscious Forum, Honorable Moshood Salvador, to clinch the Labour Party ticket. Well, joining us in the studio to discuss his agenda for Lagos is the Labour Party governorship candidate, Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Let's begin with your belief that you are the right man for the job of Lagos State.
Yeah.
Let's begin from that.
Okay, so for me, I take the cue starting with the administration of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. I believe that in 4.5 years, by virtue of the empathy he had for the people of Lagos, he was able to deliver on so many fronts in so many sectors efficiently, accountably, and actually affected a majority of people in Lagos State. And that was done in 4.5 years. And I believe, and records show, that in the 20 years of the APC, well, what the current APC government is, they've not been able to match that. I'm talking about affordable housing getting to people that need it, as opposed to being sold before it gets on the market. I'm talking about having healthcare systems that are open in all local governments. And I'm also talking about the kind of revolution that happened to our education system. It was not same of the same. It was not slow, incremental. You knew that you had a government that was working for the people tirelessly. So I take a leaf from that. By default, I ran for Senate in 2019, Lagos West, at 35. I had the most opposition votes in Lagos State after Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. That experience gave me an insight into half of Lagos, wards, their pains, their needs. I'm an architect. I graduated from MIT, at the time, the best university in the world. I've worked with the American government, I've worked with Chinese government, I've worked in Nigeria on massive projects and a lot of urban planning. And I feel that Lagos is in desperate need of urban renewal. Urban renewal in a systematic way. That's not just about buildings. It's about carrying people along and human capacity development. It's also about ensuring that you have sustainable communities all across Lagos, so you're decentralizing development. I also have a master's in research and public policy. When I decided to go into politics, I ran for local government chairman under the Labour Party. I went back to school, got a master's in research and public policy. That makes me understand the need to make policy with the people, not sitting down in an office in Marina or Lausa and just creating, using a broad brush to create policy. Policy must be made with the people, looking at comparative advantages of their particular locality. I'm a Lagos indigene. I come from a family that has a long history of service. And I believe that not just the fact that youth also make up the majority of the population in Lagos State, I believe that democracy is about representation. And I believe that those needs, those desires, and the fact that Lagos State has really been in a mediocre place for too long, We've circled around this mountain too long, and it's time to move forward.
When you say mediocre place, we need you to break it down.
Okay, so for me, for as long as I can remember, we've been sitting in traffic for 4 hours. I had to wake up really early to get here from Lekki, even though I'm going against traffic, right? Just in case anything happens along the way or bottlenecks. And then as I'm coming, I'm seeing people waking up that probably woke up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. still trying to get to work, right? I'm talking about having a healthcare system that functions and a healthcare system that holds negligence accountable. There are too many people I know since I got into politics that go to hospital and die because there's no oxygen, there's no light, there are no systems to monitor and punish negligence, and also to have a world-class healthcare service that's accessible to the majority of Lagosians. I could go on and on. All the sectors, when you leave the axis of Ikeja to Lekki and you start going into the Alimon shores, start going to the Ojos, the Jeremy Fellows, the Amor Dolphins, there's a lot of government neglect. Go to Badagry, these are things that are without a doubt. It's not
well, many people have listened to you, and you talk about New Lagos, you talk about Jakonde, you talk about this, that your presentations are more of complaint than a systematic approach to issues. That you say you don't want medical here, you don't want incremental increase in things in a fellow do local government. You don't want this, but you have not come up with any blueprint.
So we can talk
any idea how you are going to fast track it.
Oh, certainly, yes. I can't do that. So first of all, the spirit of my government, by God's grace, will be transparency and accountability. And in doing that, ensuring that our revenue, the monies that we make, are spent efficiently. For instance, you look at all projects that are being done in Lagos. On average, they are done at 4 times the price as the World Bank benchmark for a project to be done. By so doing that, ensuring transparency and accountability.
How are you sure of that?
Oh, I'm very sure of it.
I'm sure that there is 4 times the price because you cannot use the inflation. I saw some people talking yesterday somewhere. They were saying that if you have £4,000 in London, they are translating.
I'm not even using foreign exchange.
You don't have to do that without understanding the peculiarities of the local situation. Because when you are doing economy, you say you went to Massachusetts, very good. But if you went there, you know that too that the economics there, their plan is also Western based. You have to localize.
This is not about foreign exchange or anything like that.
No, not foreign exchange.
Yeah, so I'm talking about a government coming up with a policy and setting a budget and not meeting that budget. I'm talking about a government saying that they will achieve 130 kilometers of rail and barely meeting 10% of that over a period of almost 14 years, right? I'm talking about ensuring that your people are moving in an efficient way, and in so doing, enable an economy to grow.
How do you move that? How do you say that you want to put rail on the ground and you get it down immediately? How do you do that? Do you know the financing? Do you have a sense of how it is done? For instance, Lagos says they're going to get the red line, blue line rails. Yes. Yeah, they're going to get those ready between now and early next year, and they're doing that without taking any loan and without any borrowing, without any of such things going on. And you are saying that you're going to get it done with...
Okay, so it depends on what is your priority. My priority is for my people to start moving efficiently and having a good quality of life, right? I've sat down with infrastructure developers, financiers, that have said they've actually approached the government. And they've said they are willing to do these lines simultaneously at the same time, but they were rebuffed because certain things that they were asked for, they were not willing to give, whether it is having equity in their businesses, whether it's having equity in their companies. Now, if my priority is to ensure that people are moving in the most efficient way, I will not be focused on taking loans. I will focus on partnering with the private sector to ensure that...
But that's what Lagos has done.
Then why is it taking so long?
Why is it taking so long? You have to plan. That's what they said.
You don't plan for 14 years to do 13 kilometers of rail. That's extremely mediocre and very poor. And even aside from that, let's even leave rail. We are surrounded by water. We're a coastal city. We are not maximizing our water transportation. I'm not talking about these small boats that can potentially capsize and have a security and post security hazard. I'm talking about when you budget for dredging, actually doing that dredging at a price that actually makes sense and actually can get that work done. Because they are overquoting these things, right? And if you've dredged properly, First of all, you will not have a Sherry being flooded by the Ogun River right now. People are moving out of GRA in Magodo right now. You will not have a situation where you cannot now have mass transport ferries moving people across Lagos and connecting the metropolis.
But you said you've lived in Massachusetts, you've lived in all those places. I've lived in the US. I lived in the US and I've seen flood in the US. And that was before the uptick of this melting of the ice cap and the tremendous effect of climate change. So when you are making those references, you should also be scientific to know that the force, what Joseph Conrad calls the unthinking might of nature, can also upend no matter what you do.
I think that we cannot constantly blame nature without being proactive as people, as a government. I worked with the American government after Hurricane Katrina happened in June, development for New Orleans, so I know fully well what caused that flooding. I'm saying that we must be proactive. We have wetlands that are being sand-filled and being developed indiscriminately without a proper urban plan for draining water out of the city, right? And that's just by greed. I'm talking about wetlands. We have a system where our gutters that are being built are not on gradients. So water is just stuck. I can go on and on from the primary, secondary, and tertiary means of moving water. Sir, what I'm trying to say is this. There are active things we can do, systematic things we can do. First of all, we need wetland protection in Lagos State. It is not, because wetlands are nature's natural gutters. Now, every time a developer comes and sandfills and builds it, you're trapping water in the city. So when rain falls, like you said, I agree with you, ice caps are melting, there's global warming, so more rainfall. But when you're taking away your natural drains, right, you're also causing problems for yourselves. When you're not prioritizing getting water out, not just by the passive infrastructure that you're doing, which is the primary, secondary, and tertiary gutters you're moving out, but also also bringing mechanization into it, pumps and getting water out, like a proper system, mapping out our gutters, ensuring that they run efficiently.
Lagos doesn't have it, because when rain falls in Lagos, no matter how heavy it is, in a couple of hours, it drains out. And that's what happens. When I live in Colorado, that's what happens. The rain, there's a water level, and you drive through it. Even when there's heavy snow, there's wetness, and so on. After a couple of hours, you see the floods everywhere. After a couple of hours, the water finds its level.
After a lot of destruction. After a lot of destruction has been done. So I'm saying that we can be more efficient. We can do better. Okay, so let us say the government has created a situation where rain falls, people's homes are destroyed, but after some time the water goes away. That's fine. I want to take this to another level. I want a system where we are predicting the amount of rainfall that's going to come, and we have mechanized systems of pumps to push things out. I want a wetland policy across Lagos State that ensures that developers are not indiscriminately landfilling places that should be our natural reservoirs for water. And I want a mapping out of entire gutter networks and ensuring that we tag this with waste management so that we are reducing significantly the blockage of our gutters.
But that is going on in Lagos. Have you not seen Lagos?
No. There are a lot of ideas being passed around. Lagos is run in a sort of tokenism way. There are brilliant ideas, hot words that you hear on TV, but the reality that we face every day is not reflecting it. We are driving by gutters and we are seeing it blocked. Wait, I was at Channels on Monday, I think, and I toured the place, and I'm seeing people moving out of their houses. People are wearing rain boots to walk around their houses. Right?
Channels in Lagos.
Yeah,
in the Sherry, it's on the Lagos side. Right, like that. It's on the Lagos side, and then there's Ogun side.
So
no, it's on the Lagos side, sir. There's a road.
There's Ogun side too. So I don't know which side you're
talking about. Lagos side.
It's on the Lagos side. Yeah. Now you've said so many things, but I want to bring you back to something you spoke about, talking about the spirit of your government being that of transparency and accountability. But we know that there's supposed to be something we can hold you up to, because you just spoke. But there's no document where people can say, you said this, and this is what is not happening. We can't hold you to account for what you have said, because there's no written document backing what you're saying.
My vision document is going to be unveiled in November, on November 8th. right? And what is holding back is we are ensuring that the right individuals are going to be in the room, and we're going to. But everything I'm talking about is coming from. So I'm not just talking. These are my vision documents. I'm not going to use the word manifesto. It has been abused in Nigeria, and people. I mean, we know the manifesto of the current ruling party when it came in 2015. And we know that barely anything has been achieved. So that word manifesto has been bastardized. It's my vision document, and it's going to be unveiled in
What's the
November.
difference between vision and manifesto? You're playing on words.
No. I'm playing on words that if some, you see, a word.
Vision was used. Vision has been used everywhere. So it's not as if vision is original to you.
No. I mean, I did not create the word. But what I'm saying is, it's more appealing to me, and it's more in the spirit of what I'm trying to communicate, which is a vision for a new Lagos. Not so much a manifesto where we're just writing things that, like you said, nobody's really holding anybody accountable for any manifesto. In Nigeria, I mean, we are going into 8 years of a government. Nobody's holding them up to.
Will you be different? Will you
I will certainly be different.
You just did that now.
How?
You just did that now. You just held them accountable.
How would you be different? Now, how would you be different? How would you be different?
Because everything that I'm talking about is based on real tangible factors that we're going to push in. And the truth of the matter is this: the movement that is fueling us is not one that is driven by politicians, right? And I think I'm young, I'm 39. I'm sure that maybe you've seen other political movements. But in this, I've been in the PDP, I've been in Coa Party. In this situation, people are driving this thing. And this is the only way that servant leadership is going to be enthroned. And the fact of the matter is the people that are driving this are not the ones that don't care about your manifesto or policy or even your vision document. They are going to hold you to account, right? So if I know that I don't have bullion vans to get me into office, I don't have a network of NURTW people to suppress votes, I only have the people. And these people are interested in my manifesto and ideas that I'm preferring, and they'll hold me to account to that. So if I want to return, I must deliver on that.
You mentioned something, and I'm wondering, how have you sold yourself to these people that you just mentioned? Talking about the NTRUWT people, how you have sold perhaps your ideas, your vision to these people. They may support certain politicians because they believe in them. What have you done with winning them over to your vision?
Yeah, so we're having several meetings with different groups. Like you said, there's some people that are diehard supporters, right? Of course. But then there are people that their interests are not being preserved right now. You have the bus unions that are saying that they're going to go on a strike because of multiple taxation that they want to deal with. We're reaching out to them, we're talking to them. For me, I want a system where you're not being overtaxed, but you have a direct benefit to getting your taxes paid. NURTW, well, what they were called before, generates almost 120 billion a year from monies that are collected. There is nobody can account for how these monies are spent. How do these monies affect whether you have access to health insurance, whether your children have access to school bursaries? How are you social engineering using those funds to make the lives of these people better so their children can actually have a better life? These are kind of things that we're preferring and we're talking to people about. And especially with this new situation where they are also coming and saying, we are being overtaxed.
Does it look like you're going to go into the election, going to fight NURTW?
No. I'm not fighting.
That's what it looks like.
No. I'm not fighting NURTW. I'm only telling them that, listen, your lives can be more meaningful. We can, instead of having a pyramid structure, we can have a flat structure where all of you benefit. And these monies that you raise, you can actually see direct benefit for it.
Now, Gbadebo George wanted you to be deputy to PDP, and so you're coming to Labour Party. Is it that you are a rebel rather than a candidate?
It's a good question. Chief Gbadebo George, amongst many other prolific leaders, people like Akere Bokno, former deputy governor, people like Prince Akitoye, former commissioner of agriculture in Lagos, and so many other leaders, all of whom I've mentioned, these people I've mentioned are BOT members. They all, and leaders and elders, when they sit, what they can see, you can't see even if you are standing on a tower. And I'm a young man, I'm 39 years old. They came up with an idea that, listen, you and the eventual flag bearer will be a perfect combination. And For that reason and that reason alone, I withdrew from the race, right? I did not go into contest. That was reneged on, right? And for me, honor, integrity, being a man of your word are just key things that show your capacity to actually work to try and deliver on your words. Like you said, your vision, your manifesto. You might not do 100%, you might not achieve 100%, but you must work on it tirelessly because you espouse the values of integrity. And I felt that that would not be possible for me anymore on this platform where a person that could make somebody agree to withdraw for somebody went against that agreement. I joined Labour Party because the values that it espoused in that moment, right, was very appealing to me. I'm interested in a new type of politics. I'm interested in a nurturing of a new type of voter demographic. For too long, we've left elections to people that just come on election day to harvest votes, harvest money, I mean. The people, the working class, people that believe in dignity of labor, people that get up every day and go to work, they normally stay away from elections.
Yeah, but the man you fought against in Labour Party, Salvador, said they rigged the whole thing for you.
That's not possible.
But he said so.
Then he'll be in court. Is he in court?
He doesn't want to do it for you. You have a right not to use your right. Yes,
No.
But he claims so.
No.
But he has claimed so.
There was an initial outburst after the election, on the night of the election, and then 2 days later, we're all with Gbadebo and we reconciled and everything is fine.
Are you sure? Because he said people believe he's sulking. That
No.
They said you rigged it and that you guys came. He had come for acclamation because like you, he's also a rebel from another party. And he came there and he said he was going to be given what they call it, acclamation, from acclamation to your proclamation.
From acclamation to the most transparent, free and fair primary I have ever experienced in my political life.
What kind of party will come with acclamation and then
declamation? I don't think that's fair. I think that, a candidate can have their thoughts or their hopes or their expectations. It's not fair to now project that on the party. The party came with almost 20 INEC observers, right? The party, we had ballot papers. We started that process around 12 o'clock. We finished it at 10. That shows a planning for an election, right? So he might have had his hopes, he might have had his expectations, but we've all resolved all that now. That's water under the bridge.
The party itself, even your own party at the national level, does not even have a manifesto, many people say, and that your presidential candidate just moves about, coming up with one statistics today and comes down with another, and then because the last one he said was that his chief of staff, that's when he talked to women somewhere, he said his chief of staff was, that he had so many women in his government, whereas he had only one woman, one prof in his government, and he said it was his chief of staff. I'm still trying to confirm whether that woman was his chief of staff, because I know that the chief of staff that I knew that was working for him was Chukwueze, who was complaining bitterly when I met him in Oka as his staff in Anambra State. Yes.
Okay. So my response to that is this: Peter Obi is doing something that is, you cannot deny, new in politics.
What is that?
People are mobilizing without being mobilized. People are organizing, spending their own money, donating, right, to push.
That's not new. That's not the first time. That's not the first time.
No. That's not new in politics. That's not new. People are doing it. People did it in
2014.
People did it in 2015.
There's nothing new.
No. If you are saying that people did it in 2015, I believe that in 2015, because I was in Nigeria at the time, there was a euphoria that happened. But I did not donate, and I know there are very people donating.
Doesn't mean it wasn't
but I'm saying that at the level it is happening right now.
What level?
It is happening at a very tremendous level.
And it progresses.
And it is progressing. And it's getting bigger. It's building a lot of momentum.
So it's not doing anything.
My point is this. Peter Obi's movement, Peter Obi going around discussing with people is different from typical politics. For instance, you get a hall full of people, you talk to them. He's going and interacting with people. At the moment now, he's showing empathy. His campaign is about empathy, it's about integrity, it's about,
values. What's the empathy? Show me the empathy.
I think that when a man leaves his campaign trail and goes to go and commiserate with people that are suffering from flooding around.
Who has not done that?
Who did it first?
Who has not done that?
Is it about who did it first?
Yes.
People have been doing it
because in politics,
people have been doing it for ages. People are doing it for ages.
But the point is, the first person that made headlines of doing that was Peter Obi.
Anybody could have done it.
No, I don't believe that.
Just like you ran
90% of Nigerians and 90% of human beings in general, right?
We need to go on a break right now. Okay. We need to go on a commercial break. Where we return and continue the conversation. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. We still have the Labour Party governorship candidate, Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour in Lagos. He is the Labour Party governorship candidate for Lagos State. And before we went on the break, we were talking about the presidential candidate of the party, how he's showing empathy to persons who have been affected by flood. But let's come back to Lagos State and want to speak in specific terms now. Talking about, we understand the peculiarities of Lagos State, how it is housing a lot of persons who are not indigenes of the state. And thus far, one would say there's been that peaceful coexistence between indigenes and the non-indigenes. How do you intend to perhaps deepen that, since you say you're bringing something different?
To add to that, there are a number of your party followers who are saying that Lagos is no man's land. Do you believe that, your name being Rhodes-Vivour?
Okay, thank you. It's a very sensitive topic, but I think it's important to start talking about these things. I'm a very proud indigene of Lagos, and my family history goes back. The first colonial government rented their property from my family. My family produced a second judge in Nigeria, and we're proud Lagosians. At the same time, my heritage is one of mixed parentage. My mother is Igbo, my wife is from Anambra. So I've had a chance. I've spent Christmas in the southeast. I came to spend New Year with my grandparents, Lagos Island, and in Lagos in general. So I represent what I would say is a southern Nigerian. At the same time, I vehemently disagree with the idea that Lagos is no man's land. It is extremely disrespectful.
If you say that, do you go and tell some of your party followers? Because the core of your party followers are those who are coming out with that narrative. Can you say public now that they should stop saying so?
You see, I'm a politician, right? But you notice, I'm not doing this. I've told you what I mean. I told you what I believe. But there's something unfortunate happening. You have people on social media, you have people that are taking up pictures, putting Igbo names, and creating a lot of discord. It's very, very unfortunate. And it's happening at such a scale that is very, very sad. Because these things actually start to affect people's lives in reality. Because people get angry. They now start to have attacks and reprisals and everything. Are you saying that
it's not real that they are saying that Lagos is
I'm saying that some people might say that, but the way it has come into the mainstream is actually very orchestrated. So I'm saying on TV now that Lagos have founding members, people that have been here for a long time, that have contributed immensely to the development of the state. But the culture of Lagos, like you said, is one of coexistence, is one of openness. Nnamdi Azikiwe's largest political base was in Lagos State. And he was doing this in partnership with Lagos elites of families that are Lagos indigenes. So for me, I want a Lagos
Although one time he got in conflict with them when he tried to impose himself on them.
No, but that was the politics. And then people now started feeling that let's go back to tribal things.
Yeah, because of this same kind of narrative that, look, we own you.
What do you intend to do differently?
Yes, so for me, I want to create a situation where, Lagos State by itself has, and Lagos indigenes generally have a spirit of coexistence. I want to restore that. I want a situation where people are not paying taxes for 3 years, and then when it's close to elections, they now start to be othered. You are not one of us. But if we collected their money for 3 years, threatening them to close their markets, I want to enable businesses for everybody in Lagos, whether you speak Igbo, whether you speak Hausa, whether you speak Yoruba. The point is that you are going to be in Lagos and your businesses are going to be enabled, they are going to flourish, they are not going to be stifled. One, by reducing multiple taxation. Two, by ensuring that when you work
Where's
with
the multiple taxation?
several. Like, do you know the informal sector pays so much more tax than even the formal sector? And these monies are not being accounted for. And these monies even, there's no direct benefit. Let me give you an example.
You have to document it.
Yes,
let me
give you.
Just make the claim.
No. I mean, we can go all day up on this, right? I just gave you an example. 120 billion is being generated by NURTW every year. How is this money spent? How does it benefit the people, the members of the union? Where is this money going to? No, but the thing is that they work in tandem with the government, right? They do. Now, what I'm saying is this: we want a situation where my government is going to ensure that all our capital expenditure is to drive productivity in Lagos State, reduce traffic, have a good relationship with the markets. So you are not just, so for instance, this is my own solution to this thing, is having what I call the Commonwealth of Lagos. As long as you're a tax-paying member of Lagos State, you belong to the Commonwealth of Lagos. And all the programs that we do, policies we make in partnership with the people in these different peculiar localities, there's a direct incentive and benefit. So for instance, as part of my campaign, I'm testing out a micro health insurance thing. So I've done micro health insurance for about 50,000 people, just a test project.
Well, Lagos already has that.
Well, how many people have taken it up?
It has to move.
No. You see, this is the problem. This is the problem. Like I said, tokenism, right? Where you do things for the headlines. Now, if you're making policy that you've carried people along, you will not have to be waiting for them to pick it up. You will not. For instance,
are you trying to install a socialist government?
No, but at the same time, people are paying taxes. There should be benefits to it. There should be direct benefits. I should be able to say that I pay taxes, and as a result of that, I have access to a scheme that can allow me to have multi-income housing, to be on the ladder for it.
Have you examined the one that Governor Sanwo-Olu, have you examined it?
I've examined it. My conversation now is about the optic of these policies.
Yes.
Right? There are lots of things that are done for headlines.
So basically, you're riding on an
You're going to ride on what has already, you're not coming with something original.
No, for me, I'm making accessibility to these policies, one, transparent. I'll give you an example. What they call affordable housing. Affordable to who is the question, but I would rather use multi-income housing, right?
That's what we're saying, that you're riding on existing policies.
No.
That's what
If you have multi-income housing or affordable housing, that before it gets to the market, is already been sold amongst the people in government. And then goes on to be sold to developers.
It's not, that's not what they do now.
Sir,
I know how it works.
We know how it works in theory. You cannot tell me that affordable housing is being developed and given to people as efficiently as it was done during the Jakande government. I know a lot of people that are involved in this racket and scam, right?
You are just making a claim. You have to have evidence
to back them up.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to write an article and put in papers this week on this thing, right? And I'm going to talk about this conversation. It's going to start in my interview with TVC. This was brought up, and I want to address this.
That'll be interesting.
I'm saying it on TV.
Now, talking about maternal and child care, that's
Yes.
another critical aspect
Extremely
that
critical.
has to be addressed. Lagos State has done extremely well, according to reports, to addressing that, reducing maternal and child care deaths. And they've set up maternal mortality and child care centers. And I'm wondering what you want to do differently, since you say you want to do things differently in Lagos State.
You say according to reports. I don't know which reports you're talking about. The fact of the matter is that a lot of people are still going to private hospitals to try and get treatment and trying to get maternal care. Majority of people cannot afford to do that. So they're left to deal with government-established maternal care.
Have you gone to these places to see the number of persons that
I've read reports on the healthcare
advantage of these centers?
I've read reports on the healthcare delivery system in Lagos State.
Right.
Yes, there are underlying work that has been done, but it needs to be taken to another level.
So you are going to build on what they are doing.
Definitely.
So
No. See, right? I'm not a person like, for instance, somebody started the train system. The governor did. Then another governor came and abandoned it. See, if there's something good that the government has done, I'm going to improve it. I'm going to make it more transparent. I'm going to make it more accessible. And then things that they've not done, I'm going to ensure that we deliver on it. I'm not here sitting down saying that everything is zero, right? We are still a state. There are still people moving into Lagos State every day, right? But Lagos State used to be the center of excellence. In 1966, it was ranked as one of the top 70 cities to live in the world.
It's still been seen as the model state.
No. To who? Lagos State is
the rest
constantly
of the
ranked.
states.
No, Lagos State, and I'm talking about globally. I'm talking about, this list I'm talking about, I'm sorry, sir. This list I'm talking about had cities like New York, Barcelona on it. For the last 10 years, Lagos has been ranked as one of the worst cities to live in the world by the same organization that has been doing this since 1966. Right? So we're trying to change that. And I'm not saying that there are not things that have been done. Right? For instance, there's a BRT system started by Blueprint, Tinubu, Fashola came in. But BRT does not carry up to 17% of people that need to move around in Lagos State. Right? It is a good system. I'm not going to come into government and remove it.
Kind of
transportation system. Yes, like the Danfo carries 40%.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Danfo has been spaced out.
No, but Danfo still like we still see the yellow buses, right? I'm just saying that I'm agreeing with you that there are multiple. So there's the last mile, there's the BRT, there's the Danfo, there's even the white buses, right? What I'm saying is that still mass transit now needs to be the focus, and it needs to be done. Our focus cannot be, oh, we are not borrowing. The focus must be, we are partnering.
Forget that we had NSAS and the bandits who came to destroy all those buses that we were using in town just 2 years ago. Don't forget about those ones cost a lot of money. Many of them very, very, very relatively new buses by the time they were destroyed.
I agree with
Don't
you
forget
100%.
about that.
I agree with you 100%. That was a very, very unfortunate incident. The aftermath of the shooting of innocent protesters at the toll gate.
It was not the aftermath.
It was the aftermath.
It was not the aftermath. It was not the aftermath. It happened about the same time.
No, sir.
It's about the same time.
No, sir.
Anyway, whatever it was, it never justified.
I agree with that.
The idea of the shooting.
There were policemen that were killed. There were policemen that were killed. Nothing justifies that.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of horrors. There were businesses.
They came to these premises for what reason?
Our buildings.
For what reason?
I am in complete agreement with that. Right? That's one side of it. And I'm also saying it was unfortunate that unarmed protesters were violated and shot at. That's it. It should not have happened that way. Right? It should not have happened that way.
Now, you also spoke about rotational leadership or governance structure. Perhaps you might want to speak to that.
Rotation, I'm sorry, please explain. I don't
rotational governance structure, that you were going to introduce a rotational governance structure from the report I got that you said you were going to introduce.
Okay, maybe somebody misunderstood what I said. I was talking about having government as close to the people as possible. First, starting with having a truly autonomous local government system where you ensure that visionary people are put in position. It's not an extension of the party or it's a place to reward party loyalists. You should have would-be potential governors being local government chairmen. So that's starting from there. And then also saying that as a governor, I will not just be domiciled in Marina or in Alausa. I will have a system where in 2 weeks, I'm running government from Badagry. Now 2 weeks, I'm running government from Ekpe. Right? And this is a slim, lean government, right? But the idea is to be in that place because that is what gives you ideas. That is what allows you to be connected. Because what I feel that happens with politics, like everybody always says, politicians come, they have all these bright ideas, but as soon as they sit in that chair, they just become something else. The reason for that, I believe, is when they get out of touch. All of a sudden, even as you're campaigning, you're already moving with your mopo.
But, right? that is true. The point, though, is that anywhere the governor is, there is a sanctuary. So whether you are living in Mushi, you are living in where the star is, it becomes a gold-plated place.
And that is
because you are still surrounded and you are still aloof. Whether you are living in I'm saying this because I've moved with people in big offices, governors, ministers, and so on, and I've seen that anywhere they are. Even if they are in a club where they are dancing, they are even living in a sanctuary. They don't even know what the dancers are thinking and so on.
For me,
it's going to be very difficult because
but the important thing first is to realize that and to put things in place to ensure that doesn't happen. So one of the things we are going to do is we're going to have the governor's radio station where we're going to be talking about local governments for a week. Monday to Thursday, and then on Friday I come and address topics that have been talked about.
People have been doing that.
People have been doing. Well, I'm not saying that I'm doing something new. We're talking about something you just talked about, being out of touch, right? Even if it's a situation where you're actively looking at who has done things, and you take those systems and incorporate it into your government, right? And like I said, maybe that's where it came from, rotational, moving from
one
this
place
place
to
to
the
the other, and ensuring that the people there know you are there, and they feel your presence. Like, for instance, this government came, I made a whole fuss about the Badagry Express Road. It came into government, dumped sand there, said they are going to deliver it, but we still know what the state of the roads are today. I was in Ojo, I think this is last week, same thing. And yes, there's a flyover being built, but these things can be done so much faster. We don't have to be in mediocrity where we are delivering a project, but we don't care about the inconvenience that is causing to people for so many years. If we are doing something, let's do it well. Let's ensure that it's done in the fastest possible time at the best possible price to affect the largest amount of people.
So people say you have to be there. You have to know the peculiarities of situation. That when you promise, another thing is when you get there is another. You have to adapt to what is going on.
I agree.
Because the Badagry Expressway is actually a federal road.
Yes.
But
then there's a conversation about opportunity cost. For instance, when you know that you are shutting down a whole division in your state, and people are, in my father's days, I know they used to go to Badagry almost every weekend.
We have to wrap things up as quickly as possible, but in few seconds, you'll be saying that what's new that you're bringing to the table, seeing that you're building on most of the things that are already on the ground. But if in few seconds you could just tell us something different that the government you feel is not doing that you're bringing to the table.
We're going to be publishing our accounts line by line items to inculcate the spirit of transparency and accountability in our government. It's not going to be a situation where you're asking and demanding freedom of information. No, we're going to do that, and we're going to be benchmarking our projects directly to World Bank benchmarks. Right.
We'll have to leave the conversation here now. Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, that's the Lagos State Labour Party Governorship candidate. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.